Did I scare who? Welcome to the Bad Bird edition of Bird Glamour, where we explore some of the lore around our bird glamour subjects. This episode, we'll look at the glamour and the lore of the barn owl. Barn owls have a very distinct look, even for owls. They have a very pale, ghostly pale, heart-shaped face with beautiful coppery highlights. So let's get right into applying the barn owl look. First, I've already prepared my face. I've moisturized. I've applied my powder, which is from M.A.C, and it is the Smart Shade powder. 100 Light is the color. But I need to lighten up the highlight areas of my face a little bit more for the barn owl, just because they're so spooky pale. So I'm going to use L'Oreal eyeshadow. The name got ripped off of the package, so it's just white as far as I know. And I'm going to use a fluffy brush to dust this over the high parts of my cheekbone and my forehead and under my eyes. Okay, I have swept white shimmery eyeshadow pretty much all over my face, on my cheekbones, on my forehead, bridge of my nose, and my eyelids, so I definitely look like a creature of the night, or at least someone that needs to see a little bit more sunlight. Now it's time to define the coppery highlights of the barn owl, and I'm going to start outlining the heart-shaped face of the barn owl onto my face. I will be using M.A.C Cosmetics Amber Lights, beautiful color, and I'll be using a slightly smaller brush to highlight my cheekbones and to take that heart-shaped face of the barn owl up around my eyebrows. Now it's time to add some depth to the barn owl eyes. I'm going to start this off by lining my eyes with a dark gray shade from the L'Oreal Silver Couture palette, and I'll be using an angled eyebrow brush for that. Now that the eyeliner is complete, I'm going to take my favorite small fluffy brush, use some more of the M.A.C Copper Lights, and I'm going to brush that over my lower eyelids and a little bit out into the corner of my eye. To finish off the barn owl look, I'm going to go over the light highlight areas once more with my L'Oreal white eyeshadow and a slightly larger fluffy brush. And that, my friends, is how you transform an ordinary human into a glamorous barn owl. Now for some barn owl facts. If you live in barn owl territory, you can totally put up a barn owl nesting box and attract your very own breeding pair of barn owls. Having a family of barn owls on your property is a little like having a group of hungry teenagers descend on your kitchen. But instead of eating all of your Fruit Loops and potato chips, these barn owls will eat thousands of rats and rodents that people usually use poisons to eliminate. A family of hungry barn owls can eat up to 3,000 rodents in a 4-month breeding cycle. During a good year, barn owls will have 2, maybe 3 families per year. So that means up to 9,000 rodents that are removed from your property or your area without having to use any of those nasty predator-harming rodenticides. I'll include a link below to the Hungry Owl Project, an organization that works with people, residential places, or agricultural operations to develop all-natural barn owl-based rodent control. Barn owls do not sound like our typical owl hooting. What they sound like instead is more of an eerie scream. So imagine that you're outside alone at night near an abandoned building and you hear this. That's the stuff of horrors. It's also the stuff of legend. Barn owls don't particularly have a warm, fuzzy reputation in Western European mythology. Barn owls, with their nocturnal habits and ghostly appearance, have a reputation of being associated with death and portents of doom and all sorts of spooky things. Barn owls are linked to the Welsh legend of Blodeuwedd, and the hero of this legend is Llywelyn Guffys. And I'm so sorry, Welsh ancestors, that's the best I can do with that pronunciation. Guffey's birth was magical. His mother, Erinrod, was made to go through a virginity test by her brother and magician Gideon. Gideon made Erinrod step over his magic wand to prove that she was a virgin. On doing so, Erinrod had Guffey's magically drop out of her body. Erinrod was not pleased with any of this, and she made a decree that Guffey's would never have a human wife. To get around this decree, Gwydion and another magician decide to build Guffey's a wife out of flowers, and they named her Blodeuwedd, or Face of Flowers, or Flower Face. Blodeuwedd, of course, has no say in her marriage to Guffey's. She takes a lover, the Lord of Penthlin, and they both decide to do away with Guffey's. Guffey's, being magical, could only be killed in a very specific way. He had to be killed at dusk, wrapped in a net, with one foot on a cauldron and the other foot on a goat. The killing weapon had to be a spear that had been forged for a year, and everyone had to be at Mass. Simple plan, right? What could possibly go wrong? No big shock, this simple plan goes astray. Guffys escapes. Gwydion then tracks down Blodeuwedd and turns her into an owl with this proclamation. You will dare not show your face ever again, in the light of day ever again. And that will be because of enmity between you and other birds. It will be in their nature to harass you and despise you wherever they find you. And you will not lose your name. That will always be Flowerface. It's an interesting mythological explanation for why other species of birds tend to mob and harass owls when they see them out in the daylight. It also addresses people's unease with the idea of these ghostly nocturnal animals swooping around their heads. In fact, there's probably a lot of sightings and grainy, blurry ghost photos in abandoned buildings that can be attributed to owls, especially if they occur in barn owl territory. Have you ever had an unnerving nighttime encounter with an owl or another animal? Or is there an owl legend that you would like to hear more about? Let me know in the comments section below. Thanks a lot for watching this video, and we'll see you next time.